So today we are going to do the build video for, or basically just walk you through the assembly of the 5EZ piece L-39. Here before me you see my original L-39. It's about a 46-inch long plane with a 3-foot wingspan. And my new one that I'm working on, which is a reduced size, about 70%, something like that, of the original. As you can see, it's a bit smaller. And the goal of that thing, this one I should say, is to be an EDF. I'm thinking more like a 64mm EDF, which I have. A couple of them actually. So, anyway, I did try this with a 70, but the ESC I have, I've come to understand the timing was incorrect on, and I really didn't have much luck with it because I couldn't get the thrust up where it's supposed to be. So I've currently put that EDF unit in an F-86 that I'm working on. I previously had it in a prop. So anyway, well, once I get that, so hopefully we'll sort it out in the F-86 and get the timing right on the ESC, and then I can try it again on my L-39 this size. So I'm not getting rid of it. I have taken the motor and whatever out because I had previously installed the EDF in it. But anyway, I'm hanging on to it. It still may fly. But okay, let's go over the parts. Once again, I put my patterns on the 1/8" foam core board from Hobby Lobby and lay it out that way, and then develop my fuse cap, my wing tank patterns. Let's see, that's the small one in it, yeah. And fuse bottom, the internal bulkhead that I had in there, and the nacelle. Well, here's the KF airfoils, and the tail piece, tail section, the rudder, and the nacelles. So anyway, beginning with this wing half, in this case it's the right side. I don't have to turn it over this way though, because of the way I did it, unfortunately. A little confused here. But this has tabs and a notch here for the nacelle, and that goes right in the wing like that. And then this little piece is a score fold, folds up, and that creates our little inlet piece here, as you can see on the two pieces. You can see I did the nacelles a little differently. I just projected that center line on up and closed this in for the EDF version, because I'm not imagining that I'm going to need additional air to that unit, but if I do, then I can change that. But for right now, it's like that as it is. Anyway, but that goes up there like that. You'll have when you do your fuse, looks like this, and you have your fuse cap. You'll start this blunt end of the fuse cap right here, just like you would on any other of mine, at the tail end here like this, and then gently bring that around, taping it in place. And then once you get this shape going, these two left and right sides and the cap, then you can glue that together. You want to be sure when you do that you have a piece of blocking or something that holds it this distance apart here, which what it is on your plane, so that's together. This is your well, that's the right size. It fits on there when you get it all together. This is the fuse bottom, fuse pan, and it doesn't go all the way to the nose. You bevel this all the way back, and then you start your fuse pan just like with the other, like any of my 5EZ piece, right here at the bunt end, and come forward. And after that point, you just fasten these together, so you end up with this flatness for the first part, and then it just blends right into a piece like that. That gives you the shape of the nose. So we have our main fuses on here like that. This piece comes in with its notches and falls in here like that. Now then, this piece will come on like this. It has a little slot and tab there that registers it there at the back. another piece here, it notches it in there, and then it comes all the way to the front. If you cut it right, it comes all the way to the front of that. Then we have, what do I do with it here? Oh, there it is. Then we have this little piece, which has probably confused the heck out of anybody who's downloaded this thing so far. The purpose of this is to make this translation here, like that. And so I got this thing a little backwards here. Here we go. Using this on the left-hand side. This is actually the right wing, left-hand pieces, so I got a little bit backwards when I cut that out. Anyway, those pieces go together like that. This piece, like I said, comes forward, and you bevel the edges of both so that they come together well, make a nice joint. That notch in there, just all the way up to here, bevel together. And then this piece here, that goes on there like that, and you bevel this edge, so these, and you can bevel that edge, so it turns it down, and these two tabs then go in these slots that are here, and this helps create the upper air intake that brings air also directly down to the prop that's here, assuming you're doing the prop version. And then I also, when I did this, of course the prop went right here, I cut back to the what do you call it, carbon rod. And see, the carbon rod, like I've got on this one, does not go behind the motor. In this case, I just glued it together very good and didn't put any kind of reinforcing there. And here's my fuse piece comes down. The motor just set there and glued on good. And then I cut the sides back down in order again to increase airflow to that prop, so the prop wasn't getting starred by any means, and it flew very well as a result. Okay, so that's the basic, that's how the fuse goes. The fuse and nacelles go together. Of course, you've got your KF airfoils, and I have shown a notch in mine, in my pattern, so you can see that rod is going to lay right along there, and assuming it's a 24-inch one, it's going to drop right in there. And then on the bottom one, you know, well, I did them both notched. On the bottom, you wouldn't have a rod, so you wouldn't make the notch there. Okay, wing tanks. Let's see. Let me think here a minute. Is that the same size, or what is it? Essentially, okay. Well, you've got a piece here that sells. I have a small. This is the first one I made, and it really wasn't big enough. So my pattern has a wing tank too. That's what I was looking at there. The wing tanks are one of the signature features on this plane. And what I did here, I gave you 1/4. I gave you one piece of that wing tank. And so you would make 4 of these for each side. And you want to bevel to the inside. Once you want to bevel this way and bevel that way, and then you join them together on the bevel, and you get this. When you get it together, you get that shape. It's a square tank, but it does keep the taper profile of the look you want. Now, I went ahead and covered mine with the same kind of foil HVA. It's a heating and air conditioning tape they used to put on ductwork. I put that. It's got adhesive on it and everything. I just wrapped them in that, just not wrapping this way, but just covered each face of it and then let it overlap a little bit at the joint. But anyway, this has made these very durable. In fact, I tried on another plane here recently where I actually did the first so many inches of the nose that way. Just put tape, and it made the nose, despite a really hard landing, it made the nose very survivable. So I'm going to start doing that on my other ones, because you know it paints very well. I didn't on this one. I just left the silver wing tanks exposed to catch the sun, catch the light, and help me with orientation. But that's how you make the wing tanks. So you make a total of 8. You need 4 per side to get the tank. It ends up being a square, but it's, you know, gives you the look. So let's talk about controls. Now on this one, I used a fully moving elevator. And you know, that's entirely up to you. You can do whatever, but I just thought that was it was simpler for me to do it that way. And my what is a 5.3 millimeter, 5.2 millimeter rod in a straw through there, and this also helps hold the rudder vertical, helps it mount that solidly. And then I ran it all the way out. Now I found out that I had to, well first of all, I took cut this off and then decided where I wanted to have the rod come through, and I cut, you know, at an angle that would have been perpendicular to the center line of the plane. Cut this in half, and I first taped the back side and glue and tape that part, and then fastened on the front side. And I found I needed this on both. I need to put a number 3 rod across to reinforce that joint so the thing didn't cup or bend on me. In this case, I used like a half of a split one that had split, a number 5, so it's a half section on each side. And then I clamped my horn on there, and I ran this is an old setup from one of my RFs that crashed. But that gives me a full flying, or whatever, full acting elevator. I don't have a rudder on this plane. I have that. I have the elevator, and then I put ailerons out here on the wings, and then extensions to bring them back inside. And as it turns out, the best spot for everything was right in here. There's my receiver and everything. I put a bulkhead right here. I could have pushed it slightly more forward, but as I was balancing the plane, it just worked out that was the best spot. So I could have laid it on moved this slightly forward and laid it on the floor. I ended up just putting it vertically here, which I don't necessarily recommend. I would, you know, if you're doing it, I would push this piece to this joint here, which you can find where that joint is by the pattern I gave you off of the fuse here, so that you can draw that on there. I would put that bulkhead right in there. Where's the bulkhead? Here's the bulkhead pattern for that. Now you can make it out of the same foam you're making the plane, or let me come back here. Now for that bulkhead, you can make it out of the same foam you're making the plane out of if you want to, or you can use some packing foam. This is a very flexible, lightweight foam that comes for pack computer parts and stuff in it, and it's great stuff for this. It's lightweight, and it's only about, what, 3/4 of an inch thick, something like that. It's 2 layers actually bonded together. Or you could use their softer stuff too, for instance, that's light, but that gives you a little cushion that keeps the battery from, you know, zipping to the front if you have a crash, an unceremonious contact with the ground. Anyway, and then I've got, you see the top of this. I ended up cutting the top, so I might recommend this. This should just fill this whole void right here. So, and then you can put a smaller piece in here if you wanted to keep those sides. I wrapped it with foil again, just for the look. Use magnets to hold it down. But that's it. It makes a great plane. It's a great flyer. The L-39 Albatross is a great Czechoslovakian trainer plane, and they should be proud of it. It makes a great model. Whether you want to do it with the Grayson Hobby Super Megajet with a 6x55 prop, or put in a 70 millimeter, let's say, or bigger, whatever you've got in the way of an EDF. It'll make a good plane for you. You can always do what I was doing there, downsize it a bit when you go to print it. Just make it, 70-80% of this size, and maybe go with whatever EDF you have laying around. And anyway, it'll make you a good plane. And that's a wrap. There we go.